Hello, Emily.
Over here!
We can't move fast enough. That's 2 people now. The RV is the only thing that connects all this. How far along are we with that?
What do you want?
I'm looking for the person who owns this RV. Is that you?
Who's asking?
Me. Do you use this for travelling or do you live here?
But I probably shouldn't say this. The police found a body in the woods. Well, it was a massacre, apparently just like the way that family died.
Hello, Emily.
I need to talk to you.
Whatever it is, it can wait.
I think Charlie did it.
Charlie? Charlie has lived here for over 30 years. That man spends more time doing charity work for the local church than the bloody vicar.
What's so urgent this time?
Something tells me that you already know.
I'm looking forward to the big scares.
My name is Alice and I play Emily.
My name's Kieran Donnelly and I play Cartwright.
My name is Jonathan Abbott and I'm playing Keith.
I am Adam Starks and I wrote and directed the film. So the film's called Devil's Punchbowl.
It's called The Devil's Punchbowl.
It's called The Devil's Punchbowl.
It's called Devil's Punchbowl, or is it The Devil's Punchbowl? Who knows? Devil's Punchbowl, we're going to go with that. Adam's probably pulling his hair out at the moment.
That's a good question.
It's a bit of a murder mystery type thing, really.
It's about a murder that takes place out in the countryside in a small town.
Slightly unusual. I think it's more of a drama rather than a traditional type of horror.
I'm in the film, I don't really know what it's about.
It's sort of like a horror film, but it's also, I think it's a bit like a thriller as well.
So are you looking forward to seeing the film to find out what
I've watched it. I've watched it twice. Yeah, it's about a crazy guy who likes killing people.
So I play Emily, who is the main character of the film.
The main character, Alice.
I like to think Keith is the main character.
John's convinced he's the main character, but he's not.
The policeman, yeah, the slightly boring policeman, I think.
Her father is the main chief policeman, and I think most of the time she's bugging him about her curiosities and going places she probably shouldn't go. But yeah, I play the curious person who most people would be annoyed at whilst watching it. Be like, why are you going there? Definitely quite sarcastic, so it was a lot of fun to do. I'm looking for the person who owns this RV. Is that you?
Who's asking?
Me.
There was no doubt in my mind that he is hiding something.
Spooky, a scare maze. Might have to come along to that.
Yeah, it seems to get better every year.
Look, you're really rude, you know that. I'm just trying to ask you some questions.
You coming?
I'm gonna do my own behind the scenes.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
He sees me paying him more. Having a pay rise.
Well, you would hope so in 5 years, wouldn't you? No, he's a great character. I like him. Although he's very sort of ordinary, but he holds everything together, I think. Listen, before we go in, Murray can be a bit odd at times, so let me do the talking.
Have you slept?
There's no time for that, not when there's questions that need to be answered.
Found it then. There was actually a body out there.
If it's the same person, then I'm sure he's going to be paying that house a visit again.
I can make a call to some of the locals, get them to cause some trouble up by the RV. Might give us a chance to enter without a warrant.
I don't think so, Cartwright. I know you see this town as your little bubble exempt from rules, but I can't have that on my team, especially with the seriousness of what we're dealing with right now.
What I enjoyed most about it was just the experience. This is sort of my first professional film I've done since graduating university, so it's sort of been a big learning curve, getting to learn what the industry's like, meeting all of the amazing crew and actors. Adam's a fantastic director. Wait, we doing one of our scenes today?
Usually don't have a scene today.
I was going to say.
Oh, don't we?
No.
What?
Not together. Like,
Oh,
like,
right.
They have scenes
Why
separate.
are they here?
Yeah, so you come along and have scenes.
I have to say, although this is a bit of a, I'm not kissing his arse or anything, but he's
Kiss
so
away.
easygoing about it all, and we have such a laugh. So it's just a really great shoot, actually. That's a picture of the family up there on the wall.
Yeah, I remember them.
They were butchered in their home. So, I'm so sorry.
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, I can put it... Well, actually, I've got an idea. I can go to my car. Hold on. I did not buy these. My brother did, but whenever I tell people that, they're always like, oh, yeah, sure. There we go. Could be anything now. I love everything about filmmaking. You know, like, you have to do what you want to do in life. Like, whatever you're passionate about, that's what you have to go for. I mean, you can't afford not to do it, really.
It's the moment where John realises that his daughter is in trouble. Okay. Not to alarm you, but they said that they got a text from you saying to come back to the station just as they saw Emily heading up there.
Emily.
My favourite scene in the movie is definitely the final scene. We end up in a basement. There's quite a few characters who end up there, and we end up finding out what happened and who the murderer is, and it's a very intense scene, and it's definitely the most emotional scene for me as an actor, so like what required, I think, the most from me, but I really did enjoy that scene, and it was just so much fun to do.
What I enjoyed most is probably drinking coffee and eating. The bits in between actually filming, and I particularly like getting paid for a whole day and only doing like an hour, which is really good. I do enjoy my coffee.
He was right behind.
He's probably gone for one of his walks. Oh, well, yeah, John's like an old dog that just keeps turning up, really, time after time.
Working with Adam is always a challenge. He's very difficult.
We've spoken about this many times before.
He's sort of obstinate and slightly aloof, I have to say, and he keeps himself to himself.
There's a line at the beginning of the film where he says that the line is, we'll go to the cafe and then we'll crack on. But he kept saying it, we'll go to the cafe and then we'll get a crack on. 3, 2, 1, action.
Right, we're going to make our way to Diana's, and then we need to get a crack on. Diana's, and then we need to get a crack on. Oh, okay. First of all, he's normally got, you know, expensive camper van just for him and all the facilities, and we sometimes he sets a tent up or something for us. He doesn't really look after us, and actually I don't even know why I do any work for him, actually, to be honest. But the rest of the crew are great. The other actors are great. I love working in the interaction.
Yeah, anytime he does get anything wrong, we're all just in hysterics, whether it's his phone going off or another line he got. He kept saying, what was it? It was the line was all hands on deck, because he's working in the police, and it was
busy that evening, so the line was, it's going to be all hands on deck this evening, but he couldn't help but keep saying something weird.
All right, we're needed this evening. Unfortunately, we've had a disturbing call come in, so it's all hands to the deck, I'm afraid.
Sorry, hands to the what?
Deck. Hands to the deck.
You said that before and
Hands on deck. Not hands to the deck. That could be misinterpreted.
Hands on deck?
Yeah. John, you make things weird. Hands to the pump.
Hands on deck to the pump. I'm getting my message here. A disturbing call come in, so it's all hands on deck, I'm afraid.
Which is kind of a weird way to say something, I guess. And
I'm only joking. It's a joke. It's a joke, right? It's a joke. No, Adam's great. He's got a great directing style, and he just gives us a free rein, really, which makes it really, really good for us small actors. So thank you. The whole crew's great. That's a long answer. Do you want a short one?
Yeah.
The crew's great. Adam's great. The whole thing's great, and yeah, I can't fault it, and I can't wait to do the sequel.
my favourite scene was probably the first one we filmed, which was in a cafe. Which was where one of the potential suspects turns up, and the main character Emily is in the cafe on her own, and he's sort of standing at the door intimidating her, and at this point, like, you're not quite sure if it's him or not. And it was the first thing we filmed. I think that's why I enjoy that scene the most, because it sort of set the tone for the whole film. Then on, I sort of knew how it was going to go and how it was going to look.
No, you need to go now.
Yeah, okay. In all seriousness, Emily, think carefully what you do next.
Yeah, so when I wrote the character of Charlie, played by Rich, I wanted the character to be in the running for someone that could be a serial killer. Definitely wanted him to be a suspect, but I didn't want him to actually do or say anything wrong. I wanted it all to be sort of like this undertone, like if you engaged with the person, you couldn't then go and tell the police that he's done this or said this or anything like that, because there's nothing wrong with what he's said or done.
Do you want to say who done it?
No.
No.
Is that? Or,
We're doing a practice.
Okay.
We're waiting for your confirmation here.
yeah. He's doing in Adam Stark's direction.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. Can't you read his mind, Adam?
Like that, and then you hear me say it, and then you swing back round.
Could he just kick you in the stomach? That would be easier in terms of where the camera is.
Okay.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He makes it a really fun day, normally.
Write me a horror script. Go. Starring Charlie Keith. Right.
No.
Yeah, look, that's a nervous smile.
Can I read it? Hang on.
These creatives, you know.
not read it before.
That's why you don't know it's like.
I just changed it, Adam.
Let me have a look. Because I would not have wrote that.
No.
I don't even know that word.
I know, of course you wouldn't have. It surprised me when you said it.
Yeah, it surprised me when I was reading
where
it.
am I looking? Oh, procedure. It's supposed to be procedure.
Oh, I did wonder. But
It's just
precedence is like a legal thing.
It's just procedure. Yeah, because I wouldn't write precedence. That's not a word I use.
I've been doing the longest thing about that. I'm like, how am I going to make this? I'm like, oh, it's just precedent, that's all. Yeah, I was going to do it like that, like it's in,
skip over it.
Like
really
I don't know
quickly.
what I'm saying.
I feel like I should also point out that whole behind the scenes thing that we did like 2 days ago. I should mention that I also played Dale, which might seem quite confusing. That wasn't supposed to happen in the film. We started shooting, and then about 2 days before the person who was going to play Dale had his first scenes, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And I think he was nervous, and I was sort of like, oh, okay, don't worry. And yeah, I had a short amount of time to find somebody else. If I looked harder, maybe I could have found someone in that short amount of time, but I went for the easy option and I just decided to do it myself. I think somebody else might have been able to do it better, but yeah, if you add up the screen time and the lines that I actually did in the film, it's not that many. It's mostly the other people doing everything, so yeah, might get away with it. We'll see.
Yeah. My line works for everything. Yeah, I just...
Oh, was you just script reading?
Yeah.
See, we could go with that, couldn't you, all the way through? The only lines you have are yeah.
That should be alright, Kieran, something like that?
No, you look silly like that.
Well...
It's not natural.
No, seriously, I enjoy working with the other actors. That's the best thing, and sorting out dialogue between them and having time to rehearse and making the scenes as good as possible, and just being part of it all, just seeing how it all works, being behind the camera, watching it all, watching the other actors is just great. Yeah, I love it all. Surely.
Well,
That's if it works.
Yeah, what we have to do is when we do films is we've got to have focus colour. So if we want anything in focus, we have to have someone on there doing the focus as well as filming the camera.
Yes.
But if it's handheld,
That's just their job, like
if it's handheld, we have to have a shoulder rig thing.
You won't see the rain.
No.
Okay. Has it been raining?
Just at the end, Kieran.
I've just ruined the whole take.
It looks like Rich just pulled out a spear.
Just push.
I'll have to add a sound effect.
Put a fork over it. Yeah,
What's
just a
that?
steak.
And then it's appeared.
How did that sound, Kieran?
My favourite scene was shot in a basement. It's the final scene, I would say. It's the climax to the film, and it's where the sort of action takes place. I'm not actually in that scene, and yeah, but I can't give too much away. But it's the final couple of minutes where the film really pulls together, and we find out, you know, who the killer is, and I can't give anything else away.
Get off the mic. Grab the microphone.
I'm sorry.
You weren't holding on to it, so I just had to say step back. You wasn't holding on. Yeah, in this film I think I fall over a lot. I think I fall over about 3 times. I came up with the original idea for the film back in August. I'd finished another film about 2 months before that, and I was getting a bit sick of not having anything to film. So I thought, right, I'm going to sit down and just write something, anything. And I thought, well, October is soon, so maybe I'll write a horror.
It's a clown, isn't it? Obviously.
It's
I caught him.
You caught him.
I caught him.
You've cut him up into bits, and you've got his leg.
Tomorrow.
That was doing so well. Tomorrow.
Should we go today?
I'm just going to regain my composure and say the line.
And then turn back to look at Dale, and he's gone.
Oh my god! That was a slight delay. You might have to edit that.
Is this like Scooby-Doo starts appearing in the screen as well?
It's like, ooh.
I got away with it, hadn't been for you pesky kids.
I mean, when I wrote the main character, Emily, I had to pretty much write her in a certain way, because if she's going to be chasing down a serial killer and going into abandoned mansions and things like this where people have died, you know, it takes a certain type of person to do that. So she had to be quite forceful in nature, really. And the first time that I'd met Alice was the first day we were filming. I didn't know what she was going to be like. She could have not turned up. I didn't know. I had no idea. So it was a big risk that I hadn't met her beforehand. But You know, I've done that in the past with smaller roles, but never main characters. And yeah, thankfully it worked out well. You know, she was phenomenal. She was, you know, wonderful.
We did. We would have done. Things not. I think we had a bit of a break on this film. I think 9 times out of 10 everyone turned up. I think 9 times out of 10 all the equipment was working as it should. We had all the equipment we needed. So yeah, I think for once everything kind of went well and went right. One location we were supposed to film in, which was a scare maze, but because of the weather it got wrecked. But yeah, we found an alternative to that, which I think was filming in the basement instead.
I think in general the shoot was like pretty perfect. There wasn't really many issues. We filmed it over sort of the winter period, so there was bad weather. I remember actually in one scene, one of the first scenes of the film actually, we were filming outside in a cafe, and there were basically a bunch of fireworks that went off.
At work, he never answers his phone.
That was in shot.
I saw it, I was just like...
I was talking to our postman, Marcus, this morning. He's such a whiz-bang. And he was telling me that late last night...
It was my first day on set, so it was a bit nerve-wracking, but it ended up working out in the end.
Well, not really. It's fairly normal to have things that sort of work and things that don't. And the way Adam films and directs means that there's a lot of things going on that maybe aren't so scripted. There's a lot of leeway, and then things just happen as part of the film, such as the weather or something, such as when we did some filming in some woods, and it was really a spur of the moment thing. We just turned up and it had been raining and it was muddy and we're slipping all over the place. And
over here!
It looks fake.
people are going to look at that and go, that's so fake.
Action.
First and get that shot and then come back in and then I'll go behind the camera. I think it's about 4 degrees outside, so great. Things I do for continuity.
It should, because that's an RGB panel. Ready? It's hard trying to remember everything behind the camera and in front at the same time.
Someone was going to say that.
Do you think that's enough, maybe? Possibly?
Yeah. You got another 2 anyway, you'll be alright. That looks pretty damn good actually, doesn't it?
Him slower, you know, like they do a proper point.
No.
Alex did it, it was like...
Yeah, but that looks perfect alright.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
That's worse than mine, John.
Oh, that's worse than yours.
Jesus.
It's all at the bottom.
Yeah, thanks for that, John.
That's all right.
And yours is like that because you're late.
Yeah. Someone...
Sorry. Sorry.
It's broken.
Go again.
Expect to balance.
Is your back okay?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I went down and I came back up until it's like sprung. That's when my legs came back.
You didn't want me to
I want the look of this film to be very vibrant. I don't want it to be like one of those muted colour horror films, which is usually the case with British horror films. I want it to be more sort of, you know, jumping out at you with lots of bright colours. And I want the locations in the movie to look that same way. I've seen some really nice locations, like there's a American-style estate up in Berkshire, that looks really good. There's a horror, scream, scare maze event type place not far from me, which will be brilliant. An old sort of manor house as well, because, you know, what's a horror movie without a scary mansion?
Yeah, oh great, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, and my glasses.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. I think it's aimed at under fives. It's scripted to people that can't really understand language, possibly Americans.
Did you want to give a serious answer to that, or just leave it as it is?
That was a serious answer.
Oh,
No, okay, I'll give a serious answer. It's aimed at people that like a bit of horror, and but not maybe something a little bit different. It's trying to be. I think it succeeds on many levels. It tries to be sort of more dramatic, more drama-based, and more invested in the characters, and a sort of whodunit, but with horror elements.
So every other day now, I seem to be back in London trying to sell the film.
Now we're currently just walking past the London Eye, and then
The hardest part of making any film is actually trying to sell it.
Yeah, all done. All finished. The film, signed the distribution deal, finally. So yeah, now I can sleep. So if you wake me up in August sometime, that would be great.
If someone was thinking of working with Adam, what would you say?
If anyone was thinking of working with Adam, I'd say go for it. He's super chilled, and it really helps when you're acting, and he sort of lets you go anywhere you want to go with your character, but also he's very encouraging, and the films just end up amazing, so yeah. No, I think that's it.
No. No, don't think so.
Okay.
Not really. Have you got any biscuits that I can have with the coffee? No biscuits.